Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Tuesday 2 Bytes. Today we are in the office and I will hand you over to Daniel. Daniel,
Okay.
what are we up to today?
Basically we've had a busy couple of weeks doing cattle work, getting all our AI groups. So we have AI Group 1, AI Group 2, a recip herd, a natural mob, heifers for joining, and natural joining and a AI heifer group. So what we've done in the last week, we've drafted everything out in the paddocks, and we're just putting it into Cool Collect, so then we're able to run our mating predictors and track where our mobs are and what our sizes are. So we had the vet out on Friday, I think it was, and he vet checked the heifers to make sure that they're cycling. Which heifers weren't cycling were drafted out. So what we do is we do that so we know that we're not putting drugs and semen into heifers that are not cycling. So we did that. They've been drafted out. So there's 40 out of 50 in that program, and then we drafted out 3 heifers that did really well through the winter with good pedigrees, and they're in for the flush program. So they're on that highest prainer nutrition, so we've got them on a little bit of slingshot pellets to get them going. And what I'm doing today is I'm making sure that we've tracked all our herd and any animal health issues we've had lately, always putting everything into Cool Collect. We have this computer in the yards, it's the yard computer. It's usually hooked up to the yard, the weigh scales in there. So yesterday in here also is the weigh session for the bulls, which we did. They did pretty good. They are coming out of winter. We're a bit behind everyone else, so we're just starting to see our weight gains now. The bulls averaged 2.3 kilos a day. Average weight was around 420 kilos, I believe. So in the last month, they more or less put on 60 kilos each, most of them. We selected again yesterday. We took the 15 that off the 65 that weren't really performing, so they'll be drafted out and sold. And Amri's been very busy with the AI and recip programs and preparing all the schedules for us, which will be posted down the yards for all of us. So we've got our calendars and what's required for each program. Amri will be putting these in. We've had a few tweaks lately. We've added another shot of
We've had a few little changes this year. Last year in our heifer program, our results weren't quite what we wanted them to be. So this year what we're doing is, we spoke to our vet last week, so we've tweaked our program a little and we've added in the shot of Overland, also known as Gonabreed. So this is our heifer program for this year. So basically a week today, so next week the 2nd of October, we'll run them through the yards and we'll PG them all. Then on the 9th of October they come back in and they get their seeders inserted, and they also get injected with 1.5 ml of Bomarol. Then they go back to their paddocks, and then on the 16th, which is day 7 of the program, we run them through the yards again and we inject them with 2 ml of PG, which we'll do at midday. And then at midday, we will also remove the seeders and apply their KMARs on that day. Then they'll go back to their paddocks, and then on day 9, which is the 18th of October, then we'll run them through the yards in the morning at the first sign of heat, and that should roughly be around about 8 o'clock in the morning based on the programme and the drugs that have been given, but obviously you know that can vary. So we'll inject them with that. This is the first year that we've did the Overland, also known as Gonabreed, in our programme. We haven't did that in previous years, but we're doing that to try and get our percentages up, especially this year, because we know that with the drought, even though it's a green drought in Gippsland, it still affects us, it affects our pasture and it affects our fertility. So all the help the girls can get is most welcomed. And then we should be AIing them that afternoon. So on the afternoon of the 18th, around about 4 o'clock, most of them should be ready to be AI'd. And that's roughly about 48 to 50 hours after we've pulled the seeder. They'll get injected, and then what we're going to do this year is we're going to resync. So we'll start a resync program on the 31st of October. So that enables 2 chances for the heifers who haven't come on the first time. So that's our heifer AI program. So as Daniel said, we did have our calendars all completed, but then when we spoke to our vet a couple of days ago, we decided to do this. Now we're just working on our cow program, and this is sort of what it looks like behind the scenes in the office. Obviously, as Daniel says, because we're running 2 AI groups, AI Group 1, AI Group 2, and we're also flushing our heifers on the 2nd of November, and then in November we also start our ET program. So we just have to make sure that we don't have too much happening on any one day. So that's why we use the overview, so that we can coordinate what's happening. And another important thing that happens here in the office behind the scenes is this is when we sit down with our calving book and we look at our cut-off dates. So when Daniel was down the paddock the other day drafting out the cows, he made sure that we're only including cows in the programme that have had 42 days to recover in the case of the AI programme, and 60 days to recover. And when I say recover, I mean that's the time since they had their last calf before they come into the programme. So all these things that happen in the office, and all these calculations and the vet check things that we do, they're really, really important, because if you're not tracking your females, tracking their cycling, and you're just putting a bull in with your girls and you don't know whether they are actually cycling or not, it can really, really affect your conception rates, and also as well you're spending money unnecessarily. So it's really good to have good paddock records and to make sure you allow adequate time before the girls come in your programme.
So what else we do yesterday? We were giving injections.
Yes, so yesterday the boys were in the yard and they were doing the pesty boosters. So all our females get their pesty booster. So with the mature cows, they get that a month before they're joined. Well, we try and actually do it 4 to 6 weeks before they're joined, but yeah, around about a month before they're joined. And then with our heifers, because they're receiving their first year, the cat's just jumped on Daniel's lap. Mags, the office cat, who you all know. So they get 2 shots. So they get the first shot, and then they get the second shot 4 to 6 weeks later. And then after that, they get their annual booster. And then just here in the background, as you can see, so obviously Daniel showed you the yard copy that we have Cool Collect on. Then here, even though this is a Mac, I was able to partition my Mac, so I can restart my Mac up in Windows, and then that gives me access here to Cool Collect. So that means then that whatever the boys do in the yards, I can open up here, because it all goes to the cloud. I can analyse what they do, I can have a look at what they've done, and on this nice big screen it makes it really, really easy for me to then collate the data that I need and send it using Cool Perform to the Angus Society. And the little Cool Perform is here, so I open that as well. It's connected to the email. And we also have on this computer OneDrive, which has all of our files, so it has all of our procedures, all our joining programs. So myself and Daniel and Luke, all farm staff and anyone who's involved in our program have access to this. And in addition to being on the computer, we also all have OneDrive on our phones, so that we can access procedures and office material at any time, anywhere we are in the world. And talking about anywhere in the world, Mags the cat, this is why we have the little tablet as well. So even when Daniel's not here, even when he's away at his other job, he has his little tablet with him, and he's working on mating predictors, and he's collating data and doing reports, and keeping an eye on what's happening. So it allows us to keep tabs on what's happening on the farm, and always to be analysing no matter where we are in the world. So that's pretty much our office setup, and as you can see, having technology really makes our jobs a lot easier. And most of these things are in Excel, so every year all we do is copy and paste and then update. So once you spend the time once to do all your formatting and to have all your files there, then it's really easy just to update them every year.
Oh, very good. So we better get on and get all our paperwork done, because it's we've got a visitor this morning, and we'll be showing off the bulls.
We have a visitor from ABS coming at 11 o'clock. So Fletch Kelly will be joining us later this morning, and we're going to drive down the paddock and have a look at all the bulls. So
we went through the bulls yesterday, and we saw a pretty good line. The boys are doing well. They really are going to start bouncing out of the ground now that the weather's warmed up and the feed's got a bit of protein in it. So we're quite happy. So we better get going.
So it's goodbye from us and it's goodbye from Mags.